The used car lot special, the Timu. Maybe I should look there. Who's putting Motorcraft spark plugs in their Chevrolet? You'll have that on these big jobs. There goes the floorboard. What's left of it? I'm gonna stay strapped.
If you guys need your bathrooms or anything done, you just let me know. On the banks of the old Intangi River. And he's mad, he's big mad. It's verified and it's proven. We've done a lot of good stuff here, so let's just not ruin it. Definitely noticeable. It's definitely here to party.
It's not because it was hard, it's because it was easy. Isn't that what Kennedy said? Something like that? Miscellaneous animal part jerky.
Welcome back to the Fixin' Rusty YouTube channel. I am your host, Rusty, and today, back in the shop, back at it. It's our 1978 C10 Custom Deluxe low buck sport truck. And let's see, in the last episode, you saw me basically kind of do a walk around, show you the good and the bad, mostly bad of this truck. And we also did our small block Chevrolet build over here out of just junk parts, junk short block, stuff I had laying around on the shelf. Bare minimum, we dingle ball honed the thing. I got a set of junkyard Vortec heads on it, and the rest of it is just kind of thrown together parts and pieces of whatever I could find. In this episode today, it is putting it in the truck. That along with our Marketplace Turbo 350 transmission I've got. And let's see if it'll run. This is a will it run episode. So we've got to do some work under the hood of this thing. I've got to do some major cleanup in here. It's got a junk half assembled 305 in it, no transmission. That all is going to have to be removed, taken out, and kick this thing outside, pressure wash under the hood, get all that cleaned up. The wiring is butchered, it's a mess under the hood. It's not good. But the plan for this video for the next few days is to get this drivetrain put in, go through everything we need to do to get it to that point so we can do a cam break-in on it and find out what we've got. Is this thing going to live? Is it going to die? I don't know. Is it going to run? Is it going to have compression? I don't know. We're going to find out. Let's get this thing started. Let's get set up and let's get at it. Thanks for coming back. Well, I think the first course of action is to go ahead and get the hood taken off of this thing, get this out of the way so I can kind of dive down in here and really get in it and get it apart. So let's start with that and just see how bad that's going to be. These damn things are heavy, so I'm not looking for it. That's going to be okay. Don't worry about that. We'll fix that. And that. It's not really that rusted out though in the front. I mean, there's some bubbling, but it's not too bad. So I think we can save it. ARA air conditioned. Huh. I did notice this thing had some kind of weird kind of aftermarket AC or something on it. I don't know what that's about, but all right, let's see if I can do this without killing myself. These things are a wee bit heavy. Alrighty, I think air ratchet or electric ratchet's going to be our weapon of choice here to get back up in the bag, not the impact. I'm not going to be able to reach with that. And I'm going with the gloves. I've had a pretty good run of not getting tetanus here, and I'm hoping that streak stays alive, so I'm going to wear some gloves on this, just in case. It's off. Now what? You guys remember those yellow jackets from the first video? The ones living in the, like behind the seat on the back firewall? They're in there and somewhere when I did the walk around on it. Well, funny story or not funny for me, I was unloading this thing off the trailer yesterday, which was its own adventure. And I forgot about them, and my buddy was helping me push the truck back. I was steering, and one of them little bastards, he came at me and he got me. He stung me right in the chest. I don't blame him. My fault. I just didn't do the proper relocation first, so he got me. So anyways, after that, we made dang sure that before we pushed this thing in, that they were all, gone. Just parked the Grizz wagon out on the curb too to move stuff around, and they were trying to make a nest in it, and it was like, no, this is not your new home. The Grizz wagon is not your new home. Yeah, this is good. This is kind of nice because you don't have to worry about scratching anything. Okay. Yeah, that wasn't bad. We'll do another little walk around here to jog your memory from what we have from the last time we looked at it, which was out in the storage unit or out there in the lot. And I guess it looks a little better maybe here without the hood. Just kind of take inventory of what maybe I have that's useful here, what's not. There's a dipstick, I can use that. That's probably gonna be usable. And that's probably about it. No, I might need this fan for something, possibly. Clutch is probably bad, who knows. Our wiring though, this is a problem. This is gonna be, you know, a bit of an issue to work through. Isn't the end of the world. When should washer fluid, I don't need that anyways. It doesn't even have a washer pump. I probably got one in the cabinet up here actually, if I decide I want to do that. I don't know, one of these, maybe that one. One of those has a washer pump if I decide to get that crazy and do that. Brakes are going to need to be addressed. I could not get this thing off the trailer without taking the caliper off the right front. It was locked on there tight. It's going to have to be a whole brake job. Haven't checked the rear yet, so I don't know if we're going to get into drums, pads. Back there I know wheel cylinders and hose obviously, but we'll see on the hardware side of it and the drum. But the fronts are going to need everything. I'm going to get a master for it. Have to make a business decision here. Do we want to stick with the manual brake setup or do we want to convert it over to a power brake? You guys let me know what you'd like to see there. I've done it. It's not too big of a deal. If you'd like to see how you do that on one of these, let me know in the comments. We can do that. That'll be probably the next time we work on it after this one. So yeah, that's going to be about, well, there's some manifolds here. I don't know. There's a few parts and pieces I'll probably save. Most of this will probably just end up being a core motor of some sort. Oh, we got a throttle cable. Maybe. That might be good. I'll reuse that if I can. But yeah, I mean, see how rotted out this thing is. It's kind of, take some of this crap out of the way. I know this thing is pretty rotted out underneath the battery tray, which is kind of hard to see, but I can see it from the bottom. It's bad, it's real bad. But, so the main goal, we're gonna take some of this crap out, the jack, the stuff. I'll probably pull the battery tray out to get in here so I can clean it up really good. We'll take the overflow out, we'll pull this condenser out because we don't need that where we're going. And all this evap stuff, that, and pull the motor, transmission, take everything kind of back. And I think that'll get us in a place where we can go ahead and pressure wash this thing, get it cleaned up to a point we can, you know, come in here and put the used car lot special, and then we'll be ready to sit our newish engine down in it to see if it's going to work. So let's get started on that. This is going to take me a bit, so just start tearing stuff apart. I think I got everything cleaned up under the hood and on the firewall except for the engine itself, which now we're ready to start taking that thing, take everything loose so we can get it yanked out of there. And I think it looks all right. It's, you know, looks better than it did, less chaos than it did. I'm kind of curious though if we've got any brake fluid in this thing or what that situation looks like. Let's go ahead and give her a smack. What do we think? Yeah, it's got some brake fluid in the fronts. I think I'm gonna go ahead and replace this thing to be safe, but I mean, it's got fluid at least. That's kind of surprising. Here is our wiring harness. I went ahead and pulled that out, and as you can see, it's a simple deal. It's just a bolt-in thing, GM stuff. And it occurred to me while I was pulling all this mutilated harness apart that I have a harness somewhere up here. I think it's in this one. This feels light. This has got to be it. Yeah. This is the harness out of my 77 C10. I put an American Auto wire in it, and this was the original harness. Oh, the whole thing. The whole thing. Fuse box and everything. That looks way better than what's in there. We might get crazy and swap this over. I think this is in pretty decent shape from what I recall. I have to pull it out and look at it and see, but it might save me a lot of work versus having to go through this thing, figure out what wires we need, don't need, extend them, all that. But anyways, that might be a good option to save having to do a lot of work on this wiring harness. I'll just kind of have to see and go from there. But I'm gonna get set up here and we're gonna start getting this engine loose and get this thing done, get this pile of junk yanked out of here so that maybe in the morning this will be ready to shove out, and we'll do a good pressure wash cleaning on it under here and then go ahead and rebuild it. I was under here getting our motor mount bolt out, and I don't know if you guys see any problem with this existing engine or not. I have never seen a block blown out that bad. I mean, I know that's, you know, probably not terribly uncommon up north, but down here, that's impressive. This thing is ready to yank out except for the exhaust, which is holding the whole thing up right now. Mounts are out, nothing's on the front. We're ready to go here. And as much as I do admire the NASCAR exhaust system and the, you know, the kick out side pipes there right in front of the tire, that's kind of neat. I think they're probably gonna have to go. So we're just gonna get under here and I'm gonna take a Sawzall and just chop them off right there at the back of the manifolds. But to do that first, probably a good idea, go ahead and get the cherry picker in here and get that attached so that it doesn't fall on me and kill me. I do need to get one of those air over hydraulic rams though. Who's got those cheap? Is it, I don't think Harbor Freight has those. Maybe Temu, maybe I should look there. We should be good to go now. Let's go ahead. Bring her on up. Oh, this should get it, maybe. This hose looks pretty new. Yeah, that's a good one. We're gonna keep that. Definitely keeping that. Guys, this is the time to let you know that I need a bigger shop. And might also be a good time to mention that I turned on the channel memberships. It's called the PFD Club. That's for Poor Financial Decisions. So if you've got, I think it's $2.99 a month, that you'd like to donate to me to make poor financial decisions with, I would greatly appreciate it. I'll put the videos out early, some other odds and ends in there, but figured I'd throw that in there before I forget, because I will. But oh, we went over 5,000 subscribers too. When was that? Earlier this week. And yeah, so appreciate that very much. Thank you guys. I think that happened when I was actually on my way home from Poverty Tour, hit 5,000 subs. So that's pretty wild. I definitely, when I started doing this almost a year ago, I just put out a few videos just for the hell of putting out some videos to document what I was doing. I didn't intend on doing this. And it just kind of, you know, it's like everything else in life, here we are. It just kind of happened. So thank you guys very much for that. I appreciate it. But I just wanted to put that PSA out there before I forget. Let's get this piece of junk out of the way. This is what's left of the 305 in this thing. I mentioned it in the first video, but I don't know if you didn't see that one. This truck was a inline six cylinder originally, so this was not original to it anyways. But I think we got a radiator hose I could probably salvage. Definitely keep that alternator bracket, might need that. Balancer maybe? I don't really have much market for stock manifolds. dipstick. Motorcraft. Who's putting Motorcraft spark plugs in their Chevrolet? I think that's a felony in like 47 states. Good morning, back at it out here on the C10 build. Got this thing pushed outside this morning. Got the shop kind of cleaned up, it's a little bit better. And got our NASCAR exhaust pulled off, so we've got that out of the way. And I think everything is pretty well cleaned out of here. Looks pretty good now. And I think we're ready to go ahead and start pressure washing this thing. So I'm gonna hit it with some degreaser best I can, just kind of everywhere under here. And we'll get the pressure washer out, get started on it, get this thing cleaned up, and then we'll start maybe start painting in here, going through some stuff, and get that done. Then I think we'll be ready to, we'll start trying to test fit the engine in this thing. Maybe get to that today, hopefully. Do need to go through the interior also. It's nasty. Get that old seat out of there. Try to sweep it out best I can. Just try to clean it up a little bit too, because we need to be in and out of there with some wiring, and I'm sure other stuff too in this process. So need to get on that also. But right now it's just going to be cleaning for a while. I got my swimming trunks on, got my flip-flops on, and I'm ready to go. Let's see. Get our checklist out. Flaps in. Choke on, fuel on, water on. Okay, let's see if she'll light off. First try. That was refreshing. Truck's clean now. I'm a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. Anyways, it's better. Looks a lot cleaner. I kind of like the blue a little better than I did before when I had all that algae and whatever that was, that black stuff all over it. So yeah, definitely a lot better. Under the hood here is major better, way better. I actually like this original blue. That's kind of pretty. It's a shame the rest of the truck's not quite that color. But yeah, this will definitely work. We can get in here and get this painted up and bring it back around. This side, not too bad. Kind of hard to see in the shadows over here. The real problem is still going to be in here. Yeah, that's a mess. I'm going to have to get in here and clean this out the best I can. Avoid that guy over there. He is mad at me still, that yellow jacket. Get this Bonneville seat, or I don't know what that's out of. And it smells in here something fierce. So I'd like to get whatever I can to get that out of here. And I think our floors are a little worse than I anticipated. They're a little bit soft. And we got a lot more rust going on right through here than I thought, which we'll see once I get this stuff out of the way. The bed cleaned up all right. It's, you know, it's got some rust in the middle. That's pretty common on these. You'll have that on these big jobs. But I don't know. I don't know if I'd call this patina. It's maybe it's abstract. Maybe that's the right word for it. Whatever it is, it's got a look. And I guess I don't hate it. I kind of thought I would, but I don't know. We'll go with it for now, but I'm gonna go in and grab some lunch, clean up a little bit, and I'll come back out and work on getting the interior, some of the interior kind of taken apart, and we'll go through that, clean that up. I do have to pull that driver door panel because that glass is busted out, so we have to replace that glass. So I might go ahead and pull the door panel so I can wash what's left of the doors out and get in there and clean all that crap out of the bottom. And then once we get that done, I think I'll be ready to go ahead and shove this thing back inside. And I don't know, we'll go from there. It's looking a lot better though. I'm not quite so disgusted to work on it now. All right, well, back from lunch, made myself a turkey sandwich, got that done. I wanted to have a TV dinner for lunch, but the damn microwave quit working yesterday, and I've been trying to find one, and they discontinued ours. It's only like 9 years old, and the replacement for it's like almost $600, and then you got to have the special bezel thingy. That's like $200 and something. Like, holy hell, for a microwave? It's getting out of control. So anyways, you'll be shocked to know I've been on Marketplace trying to find one. I think I might have one located. So anyways, that's my struggle. What happened to $100 microwave? I don't know. I'm not paying that much for one though. That's for damn sure. It's not happening. That is not happening. Hey-o. Oh. These wasps got me jumpy now. Ah. Something fell on my foot. I swear. They've got me jumpy. Little bastards. Where are you at? You're not in here, are you? What in the world are they doing with this seat? Now I gotta figure out how to get rid of the damn thing. Ugh, I don't think this one's gonna sell on Marketplace. All right, here we go. That's gonna be too small. There goes the floorboard. What's left of it? You see them? They're not gone. I was vacuuming and he came at me. I see you in there. I see you. Ah, there we go. Did we get them all? Yep. Sorry, boys. I feel bad about it. I really do. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the door panels out of this thing. I pulled this, started to pull one piece on the bottom with the vacuum cleaner, and next thing you know, this whole wad of insulation, rat's nest, whatever came out. So I need to get in here, pressure wash that, pulled the weather strips. This all needs pressure washed. I'm gonna do the same thing over there, door panel over there. Pull the dash off. It's junk anyways, it's wrecked. And I think I'm going to pull the HVAC unit out of it. It's that pad behind it is absolutely roached. That is nasty. It's going to smell. And I'd like to get it out of there. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this off camera because it's hot. And my camera doesn't like heat and it likes to shut off. So it probably wouldn't record it anyways. But I'm going to get to work on that. I think that's the last of it. Get this stuff done. Then I can get in here, pressure wash everything else that's left on the inside, and maybe let it dry. It's not going to happen today, but let it dry so overnight I can push this thing back in and we can start in on getting it ready to drop that 350 in it and see what it's going to do. All right, I'm back. I'll tell you what, you guys are missing a show. I am dodging these yellow jackets left and right. I'm going to stay strapped just in case. Probably a nest behind here too. This sucker came at me. Check my 40 speed to get away from them. All right. Yeah, this is, how's this even get this bad? What is this thing? It's like a kind of dial indicator. This thing kind of levels itself on the top. Phase 2. Axis offset. Okay. 0.5 thousandth. Y'all tell me what this is in the comments. I am not familiar with this exactly. I worked in a machine shop in college, but I don't remember seeing anything quite like that. Huh. That's cool. Probably should hang on to it. Who knows what it is or what it's worth. I don't know. Well, just working away at it out here, sweating like crazy. It is hot and humid, and this is not a lot of fun. But anyways, here we go. We got the door panels off. I had to go in and grind the had to destroy the armrest to get it off because the screw heads were rotted out. Our door panel's off, everything's good. The rat nest got bigger. It was completely full down in there. Ignore that daylight, that's how that's supposed to be. And we have here, I think, the world's first vintage air. It's some kind of AC unit, kind of contraption I have never seen before in one of these. So it looks like it was made for this truck, question mark, but I've never seen this before. So we're gonna pull it out because it smells and it's nasty, and that mat underneath behind it is really damp. And I think that was about it for now. Get that out, so I get that out and pressure wash behind there, and everything else I can just kind of leave for now. And that'll at least give us a good base to where this is pretty clean and doesn't smell so bad. It's bad. It's just real, ooh, the mildew is just, I don't feel great today anyways, and this is not helping, so we'll just have to fight through it. There he is. He's after me again. That's right, buddy. Waiting on you. I think it's loose finally. Ah, this smells terrible. Oh my gosh. This is gonna go straight in the trash too. There he is again. I got you this time, buddy. Ah! You got away. Where'd he go? Nope. There he is. Damn it. Alrighty, pressure washing is finally complete. I think I am done for today. I'm spent. This was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. Go figure. That's kind of how it normally goes. Here's some of what we pulled out of it. This is all this crazy HVAC AC system. It just reeks. The smell on this stuff is terrible. Anyways, that's all out. Weather strips are junk. Big mouse house out. Seat, all this crap. And I mean, it looks better-ish. About as good as it can, I suppose. Yeah, it's cleanish, so it's clean enough. The biggest concern, though, was obviously the rust. It's worse than I thought it was. Quite a bit worse than I thought it was. I thought we just had a little bit right in here, which wasn't going to be that big of a deal. But as you can see, it's all the way back here, the traditional kind of rust on these things. It's repairable. Just depends on what method you want to go with. And I think the inners are, yeah, there's a rust hole I can see through right there on the inner also. And the firewall, yeah, rusted through there, rusted through there. That's just what you're looking for. The center part of the floor is pretty good though. This whole region is good, so that's a win. Let me go around and I'll show you the other side. And it's worse. It's got rust all the way up to here. Pretty soft under the gas pedal-ish. Up to here, pretty soft. It's all the way through to the support plate underneath the floor there, which will make it easy to take the floor out. Yeah, all the way through there. And as you can see, back to about here. And this one got the rocker a lot worse on this side with this lip here. And I fabricated these before. Come in and break a piece and cut it back and then fabricate it welded in. That's doable. Or you can replace the rocker. I'll have to crawl under and look and see how bad the inner rocker is. So we're gonna have to make some decisions in the next few days on what to do with this thing, what route to go with it. I knew it had some rust. I wasn't too concerned about the doors and the fenders and the cab corners. It's whatever. That's a little more significant there. Perfectly repairable. It's not something that's not repairable, but with this truck and this build, how far involved do I want to get with it? So I have to decide that and come up with a method to repair this that hopefully is not going to be too labor intensive, as I didn't plan on spending a lot of time doing rust repair on this thing. This was supposed to be a relatively quick and easy, kind of down and dirty kind of truck, throw it together, use what I got, make a cool little ride out of it, not have to worry about perfection or anything, which we're still not going to do. Don't trust me, we're not going to do that. But I got to stabilize some of this a little bit, so let me think on it, and I'll be back tomorrow, and this thing will be dried out, and we can get it back in and start cleaning it up, and we'll go from there.
Good morning, back at it here with our 78 Chevy C10. Today I think it's paint day under the hood. Let's go ahead and get everything painted up under here and get this engine ready to put in so we can get one step closer to seeing if this thing's going to run. Now, as you saw yesterday, kind of finished things off. I did go through the interior. Obviously a lot more rust than what I anticipated, but it's nothing we can't fix. So I'm going to go ahead and order the patch panels to do the floor and the inner rockers on this thing. It's going to need it. There's really no good way to repair that except for a pretty close to correct way, because it's just the shape and the way it's fitting there. So we're going to just go ahead and do that. And I'm going to leave the rest of the rust for now. The whole goal of this was to be a low buck deal, right? So we can address that later once I get this truck more or less completed. If the mood strikes and we want to get wild and crazy, then maybe we'll address it then. But for right now, let's get this thing back on the road. And at bare minimum, that floor has got to be addressed before I put a seat in it, put carpet in it, you know, all that stuff. That's got to be done. So we'll do that. I did also notice here a little bit of rust in the firewall. It's not good. A little bit there, a little there, hole there for something they had plumbed in. But I think I might have somewhat of a solution here. I took the HVAC out of it anyways, because this was this god-awful AC contraption that, I don't know, it was just like Vintage Air's older cousin, or I don't know what this is, but anyways, it's out. And I happen to have leftover plates from a Vintage Air kit from one I did on my 77, and I fabricated everything on the firewall. I didn't use the plate. So I'm thinking maybe I can, well, let's see, maybe this thing will work. It'll go something like that. I gotta pull that electrical connector out. But yeah, that'll pretty much cover all the rust, so that's as good as fixed. And then I have that other little round plate that just bolts in right there. That'll cover that. And yeah, that's most of that. We got one little spot right up there, but kind of is what it is right now. So that's the plan, I think. I think we'll go ahead and plan on getting this done. I'm gonna spray some rust fix over this stuff, clean it up a little. I was gonna paint the firewall, the inner fenders, everything flat black. I mean, everything under here, well, satin black, whatever. But I don't really like black firewall inner fenders typically. So I got to decide there what I want to do with it. It's going to be easier to do it that way on this truck. So I may just go ahead and do that. It's kind of a cop out, honestly, but that's kind of what we're doing on this build anyway. So not that big of a deal, but I'm going to go ahead and get this thing mounted, and then we'll figure it out from there. Okay, I made it, didn't kill myself. All right, let's get this knocked out before it gets too hot. It's supposed to be 96 or something today. It's already humid. I got a little bit of shade, so let's get it done. You're gonna have to bear with me. I'm a little bit under the weather today. I'm all jacked up on coffee and energy drinks and emergency, trying to fight it off. So doing the best I can today. I think kiddo got me sick somehow, because I haven't been around anybody. So there we go, easy enough. That'll work. That's not bad. I'm just kind of trying to level some of this out. I'm not trying to take it off. I just want to kind of flatten it out so it looks a little bit better with paint on it. You know, trying to pretty it up a little bit. We've got some fast dry DAP molding, trim, and window caulk for this. Interior and exterior, so that's what we need. 100% waterproof. It's paint ready in 20 minutes. So I figured that's probably good enough. I was at Home Depot this morning getting some spray paint, and I figured this is as good as anything. Might not need to do that. Yep, she's ready to go. She's ready to rip. Okay. Anyways, hey-o. Shit. We'll say something around here, maybe? That's probably pretty good. Some of these holes, you're normally supposed to line them up, bolt them in with the vintage air stuff, but I don't want to do that because I don't want to, well, just me. I don't have anybody to come around the other side and do all that. So we're just going to not use the holes, not line it up perfectly, and just self-tapper it right to the firewall. That's the plan. At least that's what I drew up in my head. There we go. Oh, that's just super solid. There we go, that felt better. I know what you're thinking about these holes here. Well, your plate has holes in it. You're trying to block this off. Well, I have a special duct tape for that I'm gonna put on the back side, so I think that'll work. Oh, yeah, there we go, not bad. Shoot, ain't nothing. Easy peasy. Okay, holes have been patched and self-tappers run from the inside there. Oh, we need to go ahead and knock these motor mounts out. That's what O'Reilly just delivered, was the new motor mounts for this thing. So we can go ahead and do that. I guess while we're in here. First one's out. We could have saved some money and reused these. What do you think? Pretty well junk. Well, let's go ahead and do this though while we're waiting so we can get this set up to paint. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That looks really good. Very even. Very nice. You guys need your bathrooms or anything done, you just let me know. Oh, this might be a better way to do it here. Yeah. You could do some bathtubs. Yeah, we'll just put some over those rust holes. That'll fix that. There we go. That's good. You probably just leave it open there at the bottom in case any water does get in. It just kind of runs all the way through. I think that's the strategy. You don't want it trapping moisture. Yeah, there we go. We'll just put some, just glob in that hole right there. Perfect. I think by the time you paint that, you won't even be able to tell. All right, I guess it's that time. I masked off the trim. Got my other masking tape and my other masking tape. I think we're ready to go. See how big of a mess we can make here. I need one of those machine gun things. Brr. That would greatly help the situation. Especially when I probably got a fever over 100 and I feel like hammered, you know what. Okay, anyways, enough of the excuses. Let's get to work. Got that done. That was pretty exhausting. I am I'm feeling it. I might have a little heat stroke. I don't know, but just being sick on top of this. Sorry, this is not my best work. I'm trying here, but I feel pretty bad. But anyways, take a look at it, see what you think. Enough of that, enough complaining. Get over it. All right. Not bad. I mean, I just painted everything, but not bad. Looks a hell of a lot better than it did. Well, good morning. Welcome back to our regularly scheduled program. We have skipped ahead to the end of the third quarter. Now we're still very early on in this game. Just having flashbacks to the, what was it, ESPN Classics? You guys ever watch that back in the day? When I was a kid, I used to always watch like the old college football games on ESPN Classic, and it'd be, we have skipped ahead to 2 minutes left in the third quarter. We resume our presentation. And then you hear Keith Jackson, on the banks of the old Tangy River, you know, that whole thing. Anyways, we got the motor here set up, ready to go on our load level thing. And we have our Mystery Meat Turbo 350 off Marketplace, which I actually think is a pretty good one. Better than the normal Mystery Meat transmissions. And we've got to put the two together. The torque converter's been sitting over there collecting dust, open to the elements, so that should be fine. And I got to put a flex plate on this thing too. What else? I think that's about it. I didn't finish anything else. You didn't miss anything too exciting. Painted the battery tray, took the fan off. Yesterday, after I finished painting under the hood and all that stuff, I sat down for lunch and I was out. I couldn't get back up. I felt like hammered dog doo-doo, and that was all I had for the day. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and see if we can get this guy up, get it off the stand, pivot it around, and get that flex plate on. And I'm hoping this will go high enough with this whole thing on here. Kind of worried about it. I do have an engine lift plate if it won't, but I like this thing to kind of give you your swoop down in there. Probably should pull these headers off though. These are just on here for, you know, they're on here for the thumbnail. So, and pop those off real quick, and we'll spin this thing around and start putting that flex plate back on it. And maybe we can get this thing set down in the truck today. I do have a few hours I have to go pick up a seat for this thing. I hopefully have scored a good blue bench seat off Marketplace for 150 bucks. Blue vinyl bench, correct, blah, blah, blah-ish, correct enough. And it looks in, I mean, decent condition for everything. And if the cover is not good enough, then we will just put one of those Indian blanket kind of cover things on it. So either way. Well, that's where we're at today. Let me get these headers off here, and let's see if we can start getting this thing on that transmission. And she should be free first time in, I don't know, probably since the first Bush was in office. It's been a while. Been on this stand a long time. Been a long time. Now, do you guys do the Loctite on your bolts for your flex plate? I'm under the impression you're supposed to do like a blue Loctite, so I don't know. I'm gonna do it just so I don't have to do it again, I guess, mostly. Well, I was going to torque these, but they seem to be self-torquing. At least a couple of them do. I'm going to go ahead and torque the other ones. What's y'all's thoughts on this? Do you torque your flex plate bolts, or you just hammer them with the impact and call it good? I got that fancy digital torque wrench, so might as well use it. I don't remember what the torque specs are on this thing. Let me, hey Siri. Ready? Siri? You there? Hello? I'm here. Oh, okay, you're there. What's the torque spec for the flex plate bolts for a small block Chevrolet?
Here's an answer from Jax.com.
60 foot-pounds, says Siri. Okay, we can do that. Thank you. All right, these Apple Watches are, excuse me, I felt like I'm going through puberty there. These Apple Watches are something else. I haven't really figured out how to use the damn thing, but every once in a while I'll find something cool about it. I don't see how this could go wrong. Let's try this. Be jousting with this thing here in a minute. Hang on. Okay. Just stay right there. There we go. Told you that'd work. Okay. And these other two are probably already there since, you know, probably cross-threaded. Yep. Okay, all right, installed. Little yellow jacket spray here, clean it off. I tell you what, I haven't filmed most of this stuff, but there is one yellow jacket left out there, and he's mad. He's big mad. He is still not happy that I took his home, and I don't necessarily blame him, but I think he could have got over it by now. That might be it. That might be it. Feels like it's engaged. Well, let's put the engine up into it, and we'll find out pretty quick then. Up we go. And what you want to do is suck these down with an impact. That way you know it's tight. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, that's fine. That'll work. And as you may be able to see in there, we've got a pretty decent gap between the converter and the flex plate there. You want between an 1/8 and 3/16. So the best way to do it is just take drill bits. I got an 1/8 inch and a 3/16 drill bit, and it looks pretty wide to me. So this is a 3/16, and it's a little bit wide, even with a 3/16 in there. So I'll put a washer in there, and we should be good. I got some. I'll measure the thickness on these two and then just compare what we've got. But we should be able to put a washer on there, then we should be back within our range. That's done. Got the torque converter bolts all tight with our washer in there, so our gap should be good. I put a little bit of blue Loctite on the inside of the nut when I put that on too, just precaution. I think we're ready. I need to check the pan bolts, make sure I tighten them all, which I guess I can do that in the truck either way. But other than that, I think it's ready to go ahead and try to put it in. I'm gonna wait to put the distributor in it until I get it in the truck. I don't wanna take a chance of hitting on the firewall and breaking it. And I bought a nice distributor. I think it was $59 off Amazon, so you don't wanna break that. The guy just messaged me on the seat and said he's available now, so I figured I might as well go get that seat picked up before it gets crazy hot out there. Let's go get that picked up. We'll come back, clean some of this up, move the truck in, and we'll go ahead and try to get this thing stabbed in there. There she is. There's our marketplace seat. Pretty good shape. I don't know if it's blue or if it's green or aqua or what that is, but I don't know. I think it'll work. It's close enough. This thing might have been out of the Silverado model. It's got the fancy buckles on there. And back to our 350 here, and turbo 350. I got starter put on. This is the Vortex style. You can see how much smaller they are compared to the OG stock ones. And this thing was really nice. It even came with new starter bolts. This is just an Amazon China deal. I'll link all this stuff in the video description. Any of the stuff I got from Amazon, if you guys are interested in any of that. But yeah, this should work good. Clearance, it looks right. That's definitely for 168 tooth, so that's correct. So we should be good to go there. I got the new motor mounts put onto the brackets that go back to the frame. I got to bolt those back to the frame still. And then after that, I think we'll be ready to slide this thing in. One thing I did have to do is I did have to buy a transmission cross member. Unfortunately, the one in this truck is missing. And most of the time on these, they only have like a one side drop anyways. So it's kind of hard to run like a true dual exhaust setup. So the one I got is like a $49 Amazon deal also, but it's got the double whoop-de-doos. so that you can run your, true duals. And I'll show you what I got there. I got some Chinese pipe somewhere, a couple Chinese 40 series Flowmaster knockoffs, because what sport truck you gotta go 40 series Flowmasters on a build like this. I mean, you gotta kind of go a little bit of nostalgia. So, well, this kind of takes me back to high school, back in my 85 back in the day. Had about 4 feet of exhaust with 40 series dumped, and it would set off every car alarm in the parking lot in high school. So this is gonna bring back some memories, so I'm excited to get it in and see what it sounds like. Sometimes when you're a one-man operation, you gotta get kind of creative here. I think that might do it. Yeah. And now the most important part, the final push, so that we can shut the door and turn on the AC. And here's what we got for the cross member, the Amazon cross member I mentioned earlier. It looks like a pretty decent piece. Let's just hope the measurements are right. Hopefully some of these will line up with the holes in the frame. We'll throw this thing under there and see if we can wedge this thing in here. Okay, I basically just hotboxed myself, but it was all in the name of restoring this C10, so I think we're pretty good under here. I mean, it looks all right. It's not perfect. I'm not really going for perfect either, but it looks a hell of a lot better. I gotta get out of here. There's a lot of fumes. Last thing of the day. Let me see if I can get it stuck down in there. Got that all painted. Motor mount frame stands are back in, so I think we're ready to go there. Ah! No, wrong way. Dang it. Every time, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. What are we doing? I've been teaching my 2-year-old this. I tell her there's no excuses. How come I have excuses? No, just kidding. She's only 2. I'm kind of kidding. Not happy. Ah. Okay, well, we may have to change course of action here. This has gotten infinitely more challenging, seeing as how the all-thread piece in that thing seems to be boogered up, stripped out. I don't know. It doesn't want to go any further. I swear, if it's not one thing, it's another. All right, well, I don't know what it is, but I set this thing down on the firewall and the radiator support like you're supposed to do. Took the weight off of it and cranked it in, and it let it go past that hard spot. So I don't know. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Anyways, let's try it now. See what happens. Easy on the paint. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Get in there. I know you don't want to go, but this is your new home, okay? It only makes sense. All right, I'm gonna call it today because I'm getting frustrated and it's 5 o'clock and my wife and kiddo will be home soon. And that's a good place to leave this thing right now. And I'm gonna get that load leveler off tomorrow and throw it in the back of the truck to go with the rest of the stuff to the scrap pile, to the recycling center. And I will put the motor plate on it and we'll finish this with the motor plate and get this thing in here tomorrow. So sometimes it's just, it's good to stop while you're sort of ahead, I guess. Good morning, welcome back at it on our 78 C10 Custom Deluxe Low Buck Sport Truck. It's been a couple days. I took a few days off here to try to recuperate. As you saw when we last left off, there was a lot of frustration and a lot of perspiration. Trying to get this engine in and fighting with that Harbor Freight load leveler thing. I did get it in. I went ahead and put the motor plate on it. I just did this yesterday for just a little bit. I didn't screw with it very long. But put the motor plate on there, got it maneuvered. It was basically just needed to come back about that far. We got it here tight. Transmission mount is in. bolted in. That was a pretty straightforward process. I showed you that cross member. That actually worked really well. I didn't even have to drill any holes in the frame. I was able to find a couple holes on each side that lined up with the cross member and bolt that thing in, and we're good to go there. So I think everything is in, but just want to try to get it to a point where we can start it up and run it, do the cam break in on it, and see if it's going to live and not overheat in the process. So we're going to have cooling and everything. Let's go ahead and get our battery tray here reinstalled, and you may or may not be able to see that, but I have expertly restored it to its original factory condition. We're going to need to also restore these bolts once I get this installed. You can imagine how that process is going to go. Now the setup I've got and I decided to go with it's actually a big block radiator and cooling setup. That's shiny. That one, or here's the other one. This is a junkyard special. It's just black. Would need painted, obviously, because we can't put this on the truck like that. It would make the whole truck look bad. Let's get off in the weeds again on C10 stuff. The 400s and the 454s had the big radiator in them, and there's nut certs in the top of these. There's 4 holes, there's nut certs in here. This plate sits on top, mounts in the top. The 350 and smaller, dip down, shorter radiator, different upper plate, screwed in from the front. That's the story. So if you see these, they don't have nut certs here, they had a 350 or smaller. But you can just simply put in a nut cert in here and bolt these in, and they're ready to go. So let's go ahead and get the radiator out, get the shroud out. I got to dig up some of the little S-clips that go on the bottom of the shroud. I think I've got some somewhere. There was none on this one, I don't think. And then we can fit this together and get the radiator in it and have some cooling. I got to find hoses too. I think we already established I got one good lower hose off this, and I probably got an upper hose around here somewhere. So if you guys are not familiar with these, they're pretty simple. You just screw the rivet nut onto the die. It's just a threaded deal, same as the bolt. And then you kind of drop down in there, and then you tighten this thing down, if I recall. Yeah. And then you just lean on it and give it a squeeze. There you go. And that's it. Then you have a place to thread your bolt into. I don't hate the chrome. There's getting to be a lot of black under here. I don't like to black out the firewall and all that, the inside of the fenders on these. I like them to be body color, but you're getting into a whole other level of prep and paint and body, and that's just not what this build's about. All right, let's see. I guess next we'll have to hope that our fan works. We got the junky fan off that junky 305 I'm gonna try to use because I don't have another conventional fan. And it should work. And hopefully it lines up, doesn't hit the shroud. We may have to make a little adjustments if it does. But that's the next step. So let me drag that thing out of here and see if we can get it on. It just nothing ever goes easy, right? I mean, I guess it wouldn't be any fun if it did. Fan is a little bit too short, which, you know, that's workable, but too high at the top here. You see it's a ½ inch above the top of the shroud, and pretty good gap there at the bottom. So we've got too much angle in the engine, it looks like. So right now we need to lift the back up, get this centered, and then figure out what to do with spacers and or fan clutch here. And it's that easy. All right, things are starting to look up. We've got everything adjusted here and got plenty of clearance now on the shroud. I raised the back up a little bit and was able to adjust the shroud up just a little bit more too. So we should be good there. I'm gonna work on trying to find a clutch that'll get this fan a little more centered up here. Lower hose is correct. I found that one over there that we pulled off that 305. That is the correct lower hose. And good news, I found an upper hose digging around in my bucket of fun here. Found one that'll work. And I didn't know if this straight radiator thermostat housing was going to work, but it will with this hose. So actually works better with it probably. So that's going to be good. I just need to clamp everything together here, put a thermostat, seal that off. I need to work on belts also, seeing if I have the correct belts. I don't know. I've got a few V belts laying around here, but we'll have to see if any of those will line up with our accessories once we get that together. But it's inching closer, starting to come up with some stuff. Oh, radiator cap. I got this for the Ford and it didn't fit for whatever reason, but it fits fine on this radiator. So there you go. We got a brand new cap also. Well, I've thoroughly examined this and I believe I can get the spark plugs in here and still have room to drop the headers down on top. So it should make my life easier if I go ahead and put these in now versus waiting to do so once the headers are on. So we'll try that and see how that works. And will it fit? Stay tuned. Ooh. Yep. Almost. Come on, baby. You're so close. Oh, yeah. We got it. We got it. I don't know if I'm going to be quite so lucky on the other side, but this side, yes. And these are the header bolts I scavenged along with these headers. You may remember these came from a junkyard. These were on some 305 truck at the junkyard. I bought these things like years ago. Never used them. And like clockwork, we tripped another breaker, doing absolutely nothing. It's okay. I can work in the dark for a minute if you can. Just moving right along here, a little bit of an update. Got the headers on, as you can see. Spark plugs in, except for number one, it's loose. I don't remember when we spun this around to tighten up the balancer bolts how far I went on that. I think I went more than one. I think if I turned it the mark around to the top again, I think we're on top dead center, but I don't know. So I'm going to leave the spark plug out of it there so that once we get the battery in it, we can bump it over and I can feel where top dead center is at. So that's done. Transmission cooler lines are mostly in, as you can see, reddish in there. Swap the fittings out. This is just a cheap AN line kit. It was like $30 or something like that. The lines are pre-made and I don't have to make them as nice, and even just to buy a transmission compatible hose, 10 foot of it or whatever I needed, and then the flare fittings with the nipples on them. This kit was just as cheap to do this, so did that. Although I don't have the right fittings for here. I think these are a half 20, I believe, inverted flare to AN6 adapter, and I thought I had some left over from another project, but they're actually not. They're for the case and the transmission side, and it's different. So I ordered those. They'll be here tomorrow too. That's all we need there to hook up the transmission cooler lines. What else? Cooling's basically done. Headers are in. We'll have to run the rest of the exhaust here later. I'd like to probably now focus on the accessory drive, start figuring some of that out. I've got a couple power steering pump options, see which one of these looks like it'll maybe work. I got a box of brackets and stuff, and I do have a new alternator. I did not have one of those, so that's probably next. Let's see if we can work through that, sort that out, see if anything's missing there, see what else is needed, and just keep moving through all this, keep trying to get this stuff done. Well, back at it today. We are getting a little closer. I didn't really film a whole lot yesterday afternoon of getting this whole absolute chaotic mess of a accessory drive set up. It was kind of a mix and match of a lot of different things. So let me get this fan on here. Oh, and spacer. The spacer showed up today, so working on getting this put in. So our fan is now pretty close within the shroud where we want it. And I'll show you the accessory drive, kind of what I came up with and what we ended up with here. I think it'll work out okay. I went to O'Reilly and Walmart this morning, got all the fluids. Got a new battery, got some new battery cables. Had to pick up one belt. I did have one correct length belt, and I had to get one other one for the, well, they're the same belt. They'll run either way. It's kind of handy. So we should be good there. But we're getting close, kind of getting it tied up. I already got the transmission line fittings in. Transmission lines are done. That's ready to go. I know I said will it run, but this is kind of more than a will it run. It's more of a put it all back together and piece it together kind of deal. Oh, I got some hose to do the return hose on the power steering. I got to put the fitting back in the back of the power steering pump. Just stuff like that. All right, I think we're to a point where I'm ready to talk about it again. We have got the front accessory drive done, and I'll bring in here and show you what kind of contraption I came up with. Upper pulley was different than what you saw last. It was a single groove chrome pulley, but I needed the groove for the power steering pump, otherwise it just wasn't going to work. So this is the stock pulley. This is the one that came off that 305 out of the truck originally. And belts are the same length, both of them, so I got a new belt. Alternator's on. I had to do some major grinding on this hole and bending on this to get this to adjust to fit properly. It just, aftermarket stuff. This is okay-ish. It's not the greatest of alignment because there's no stud on the back of this power steering pump, but we're gonna try it. New return hose, not new pressure hose. Hopefully it doesn't leak, probably will. Well, we're just cruising right along. Got the battery and the cables installed here. That's all routed. Had to go find a nut on there because the Amazon starter did not come with the nut, or it was missing. And I'm gonna go ahead and put oil in it, see if I can prime this thing. I made a handy dandy oil prime tool a while back out of an old distributor. See if that'll work. Drop that in and try to do this. I bought 2 new oil filters today, and I didn't realize I already had 2 oil filters for small block Chevrolet in the cabinet. I guess I just didn't realize it. This one is a FVP brand. It's verified and it's proven. It comes in a white box basically, so I'm sure it's fine. Essentially all we're doing on this first round anyways is just breaking in a camshaft, so it's just whatever, break it in, knock any dirt daubers left in the block and anything else in there, knock it all loose in assembly lube, material from the cam breaking in, and then we're gonna dump it, dump it and redo it anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. And motor oil, as usual, I've gone with the cheapest thing I could find. In this case, it was the 10W40 Super Tech from Walmart, conventional motor oil. Also have some ZDDDDDPPP additive for it. Did I check the drain plug? And should be 5 quarts. Probably overfilled a little bit with that ZDDP, and that's fine. Won't hurt it any. Give it something to chew on. You do the whole thing? Didn't we go over this rigmarole a time or 10? Yeah, we did. 96 and older, add 1 bottled engine crankcase. 97 to 04, half the bottle. 2005 and newer, quarter of the bottle. We're just gonna put it all in. Okay, that ought to be enough snake oil to make it live through a cam break in, I hope. Sneaking up on it, went ahead and decided to go ahead and put the gauges in, or the triple gauge thing I got left over from, I think, Power Tour last year. I put it in the LTD. Oh, that wasn't very tight. That's good to know. I already got the oil pressure line back there, and I went ahead and used the nylon one that everybody says will burn your house down if you use it. But it's got a grommet, it's tight, it's pushed in, should be good. All right, let's see if we can get this thing to prime. I've got this homemade prime tool I made out of a distributor shaft and an old gutted distributor. Knocked the cam gear off the other end. I barely got it chucked on here. Let's see if this will work. I've never used this thing before, so let's see if it'll engage. Engaged a little there. And all right, let's see what we got. Ah, there we go. Oh yeah. 20, 30, 40, 50. See if we can see if it got to the top yet. Well, I can see where I dumped oil in it. Well, anyways, needless to say, we got 60 pounds of oil pressure on the gauge. So I think that's probably a safe assumption that we got it everywhere it needs to be. Well, that does work. So 60 pounds of oil on the gauge. I guess we're pre-primed. I'm just going to assume everything is good with the top end, close enough. Really not as worried about the top end. That'll come around. Okay. So, all right, fingers clear, hands clear, arms clear, everybody clear, 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 clear. It's like NASCAR on a restart. Okay, well, let's find our mark here. Feel something right there. So we should be close. Yep, 4 or 5 degrees off. So, okay, should be good right there. It's close enough. Should be close enough to get the distributor in it. Here's the white box special distributor from Amazon. I think this set me back something like $59, so it's a pretty spendy unit. I'll put a link to this along with anything else. Any other of the junk on here that I got from Amazon, I'll put a link in the description of the video so you too can take your chances. Far. Winning that time. And we're, yep, pretty much number 1. So we should be pretty good there, I believe. And let's see, where's the cap? Where'd I put the cap? Oh, there it is, right in front of me. One right about here. Ish. Yep, on the money. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Can't see that, but anyways, I took my finger where this post is, kind of eyeballed it right here, and that's right on the money with our rotor, and our distributor is sitting flush on the intake. We should be good to go. I don't think I grabbed the hold down. I think it's over on the workbench. You go get that for me. I guess I'm going to have to climb out of this thing again. Nothing else, it's a good workout. Yep, I forgot it. Oh well, okay. Yeah, there we go. Not bad. Okay, we should be at a pretty good starting place. Usually that's in the ballpark-ish right there, advanced. So, okay, distributor's in, hold down's in, and we got mostly it's the fuel system. Hook all this stuff up, vacuum, secondary, all PCV, all that stuff. I don't have a drive shaft yet for it, but I do have a yoke somewhere around here. I should be able to jam up in the transmission just to keep fluid from coming out of it so we can run it. Good morning, back at it on the C10. Got quite a bit done yesterday, but we've still got quite a bit more to go. But today's the big day, hopefully. We get to fire this thing off. Just a few more things on the list and we'll be good to go. We'll be GTG, DTF. Maybe not that last one, but we'll be good to go. So I guess we should get to it. Let's get this thing done. I gotta get this done. We're gonna lose the shop, as everybody says. We're not losing any shop, but this isn't even a shop really. But the point being is I have to get this done today because my wife is leaving out of town very early in the morning. And so it's just me and the kiddo for the next 4 days. So I don't really have much time to work on this after today for a while. So I'm trying to get this thing done. So anyways, let's get back at it. I'm going to jump into spark plug wires, and we have I've decided to go ahead and go with the Ultra Spark Edelbrock 8.5 fancy plug wires. And I got to looking at those and they're kind of gnarly. And we've done a lot of good stuff here, so let's just not ruin it. And these plug wires, these are, I don't know, 60, 80 bucks a pop. I don't know what they are, but I got these for like $6 a set, literally a year ago on Advance Auto, their website. They was doing something goofy. I bought 6 sets of these, and I think it came out to $6 and something for a set. So I got 3 sets of 90s, 3 sets of straights. And we're gonna need the 90s on this one, so I got them out. We'll go ahead and start getting them set up. I finally found my little MSD crimper tool here, so we're gonna struggle. I hate these things. They take forever to make, at least for me, they take too long. But it's gonna lend to having a nice plug wire here. They're gonna be a nice length. They're not gonna be wrapped around the distributor and a water pump and circle back around, so that's good. I mean, I'm all about that. Anyways, we dig in here, get started. Let's get some plug wires made, and let's just get this over with. And they're installed. Got them all tied up, somewhat nice and neat. Fancy red zip ties on there. It's because I was out of black, so I figured that was the closest to the block. Maybe that would work. Yeah, it looks good. Just don't do too good of a job of it, or your buddies will be asking you to do it. It's kind of like that theory when you're a kid and your dad asks you to mow the lawn for the first time. Whenever you get old enough, scalp the lawn, because if you scalp the lawn, he'll never ask you to do it again. But if you do a good job, you don't know it, but you've just signed up to do it for the rest of your life. So, a little word of advice there for you. All right, well, I tried and tried and tried to fish that thing down in there, and I can't get that camera to make that bend down in there. There's a lot of crap in the filler neck, though. So I think what I'm going to do, these tanks are pretty easy to pull. I'm just going to pull the tank. I don't have time to do that today, though, so in the meantime, maybe try to just rig up a fuel jug and run it off that for now. And then I'll get to this point, I'll pop that loose, take that tank down, look in it, see if it's any good, clean it out if it's not, and we'll go from there. But in the meantime, we get the carburetor on this thing. We'll start working with the rest of the fuel system, and we can work around it. It'll be all right. All right, we are having some fun now, I tell you what. I got the vacuum advance hooked up to it should be ported vacuum for the carburetor side. PCV's hooked up. I'm not going to worry about the modulator right now. It's like a 5/16, so I gotta figure that out. We don't have a brake booster to hook up, so the only thing I got is I think there's 2 ports left on this carburetor. There's a 3/8 and I don't know, whatever that is, a quarter or slightly less than a quarter to do. So I'm gonna just cap those off for right now. I think right now I gotta get some fuel. I don't really have enough fuel to run this thing for very long. I just have like a gallon or 2 left because my pressure washer ate it all. That thing's thirsty. I guess it drank it all. So I need to get that. I go take the jug, fill that up, get some fuel. We got everything is routed though. Hose is routed down here, so I put the fuel jug down here, and we'll just bypass the fuel tank for now until I can drop that thing, go through it, make sure it's clean. I don't want to just take a chance on it quite yet. There's no need. Exhaust. It's kind of the elephant in the room. I mean, could run it open headers, I guess, but I'd like to put something on it. So, you know, let me start with that. Let me look around. Maybe monkey with that a minute. But we're there. We're 99% of the way there to go ahead and test fire this thing and let it run, do a cam break in. We're going to have to monitor everything at once as usual. Transmission fluid level is going to go down, check that. Coolant level is going to go down, be watching all this stuff. Checking gauges, oil pressure. It's going to be one of these chaotic deals when you do everything new all at once. So is what it is. But let me work on that, and we're getting close though, getting real close. All right, let me show you our exhaust system, at least what's in my head. Here you go. Your mind's going to be blown. But I have a 4-inch pipe that is exactly straight, and I have a Flowmaster. And I say Flowmaster, I use that term loosely. I don't actually know the brand. Trust me, it's all made in America. It's all good stuff. We're going to slip that on the end there. And in our kit, this is one of those $100 Amazon kits with the 180 bends, the 90 bends, and the 45s. I wish they'd just give you turn downs too, and then I wouldn't have to turn this into a turn down by coming in here, and somewhere right in here we'll cut this off flush, and I may shorten this up a little bit too. I guess I could jam it up in there, but you know, I don't want to be restrictive. I need all the horsepower I can get, so we'll figure that out. But that's kind of the general idea. That's really it. I mean, this is kind of your basic, simple throwback, like 90s. I want to wake the neighbors. I want to set off car alarms, exhaust system. This is what you go with. It's not like you know, widowmaker, neighbor hater, single chamber like I have on the S10, but it's definitely noticeable and is definitely here to party. So,
Well, back at it. It's been several days, but back out here on the C10. I'm in the process of making some homemade turndowns, which I've already lopped off the edges here, you can see quite expertly. And then we are going to resume our adventure of the welder and see if it wants to pop breakers today or not. I have run an extension cord to the house to a different breaker to try that. I'm thinking the one out here, I've tripped it so many times. She's getting a little soft, you know, getting a little soft. And I think that's probably the deal. I'm probably gonna have to try my hand at pretending I'm Bob Vila and swapping that out and not electrocuting myself in the process, which could be an adventure in its own because I don't really have any idea what I'm doing when it comes to that stuff. But how hard could it be, right? Probably harder than I realized. So anyways, let's go ahead and chop this thing off of here, try. All right, well, no two snowflakes are the same, and apparently no two turndowns are either, but they're close enough, so we'll give that a shot. I'm going to clean up the flange on these mufflers, and then we'll try it. And there's one down. Finally got it done. I was able to go in and there's an inductance setting on the welder and turn the inductance down. It's supposed to make a softer weld, reduce splatter. I don't know, but whatever. I don't know if that was it or if I got lucky, but that seemed to have helped. Maybe it kind of a little less strong off the hit when you arc it. So maybe that's the trick. Maybe that's what we got to do. Anyways, this side is done, and I just need to go under there and kind of situate the other one, get it propped up and the way it needs to be, tack it together, and then we'll take it out, weld it up, and then it's put them in and do the hangers, and that should be it. So I'm gonna work on that. I'm ready to get this done. This has taken way too long for what should have been a very simple exhaust system. Deep breaths. Don't break anything. Okay. It's starting to come together, I think. I've got the collector bolted in, and that was kind of a battle to get to everything. I'm just trying to bring it home here, you know. This has been frustrating, I will say. This is one of the more frustrating things I have done in a while. And it's not because it was hard, it's because it was easy. Isn't that what Kennedy said? Something like that? We went to the moon because it's easy, hard. Something like that. Anyways, I'll promise you this exhaust system is a hell of a lot easier than going to the moon. But you wouldn't know it by watching this video. Okay, that's good enough. And we'll just kind of push that over there like so. And put a weld right there, and then probably lop this off, come in here with the cutoff wheel and cut it off. And I think that'll work good. I don't see any reason why that won't work. Anyways, there it is. There's one exhaust system with two knockoff Flowmaster 40s with turndowns. And it ought to really sound good. It better after all this. Well, good morning. I think today is the day. At least it's gonna be the day. Let's go ahead and fire this thing up. I believe I've got everything rigged up here to do our cam brake in first start. I need to put some fuel in this thing. I'm just gonna, this is just gas and a little bit of True Fuel, mostly because this wasn't quite full of gas and I had this in the cabinet, so I just figured let's use it. I've got my timing light rigged up, as you can see, so we can monitor the RPM on this thing since there's no tack hooked up. Timing should be in the ballpark, should be pretty close, just from dropping the distributor in, just kind of eyeballing it. What else? Oh, coil wire is rigged up. Got a coil wire over here ready to connect to get our 12 volts. Gauges are right there ready to go. I need to clean the windshield so I can see them. Fuel system is rigged up behind me. Got the fuel line just ran off the pump down and out to the fuel jug. Oh, I do want to move my fan over here. Put the fan right in front of the radiator. We'll get a little airflow on it just to be sure. And I'm going to turn that idle screw up a few rounds, try to get it closer to 2,500 RPM or so. So it's just not sitting here, idling away while we're screwing around. So we'll get it in the ballpark. Then I want to run it for 20, 30 minutes, kind of vary the RPM a little bit. And this is taking forever. What are we even doing here? Come on, get in there. Make sure we got a squirter here. This carburetor, it ran the last I knew on my buddy's truck, but I have never used it, so. Oh yeah, looks like we got a squirter there. Stuff always makes me nervous. Does it make you nervous? There's not very many things that give you the, the butterflies in the pit of your stomach when you're working on cars, but every once in a while you get that, and this is one of those deals, so. All right. Here we go. Should be good there. Be ready to turn our idle up. Ready to read our tack. And coil. Might want a coil. Coil's good. All right, here we go. And she's squirting fuel out of the, was that out of the float bowl or was that out of the needle and seat? I mean, it ran, you heard it run, right? Briefly. Sounds like it might have liked a little more timing, but let's try it again now. I think the float bowl screws were a little bit loose. I tightened those up, tapped on the needle and seat. It may be coming from the O-ring for this transfer tube. It's only other place I would think it could be, so if that's what it is, I'm gonna have to pull that off and see if we can do something about that. Great, okay. I don't really have a lot of parts for these right now either. Okay. Oh wow, no, that's spraying out of that cap. Okay, that's new. I've never seen that. What in the world? Well, I have to work on that. All right. We may be pulling the Edelbrock off of the S10 if I can't find parts for this thing today. All right. Damn it. Well, it's always something. In this case, the something is, it's this little cap plug thing. I thought this was part of the bowl, but it apparently is not, and it's spraying the fuel around this little seal right here. So that's great. I don't know what the hell's that's about, but that isn't going to work, so let me do some research and see if there's something I can come up with a way to fix here quickly, or we may be doing a carb swap on it to get this done. I don't have any of my other carburetors here with me. They're unfortunately down at my storage unit, so I'm gonna do some ciphering here. This truck, I gotta lower this truck. This thing's too high for me to work on, and this hinge is just not in a convenient location. Figure we'll pull this bowl off and see how many gaskets we can ruin in the process. Get thoroughly frustrated, throw it in a pile, then swap the carburetor. That's probably what'll happen. Just discovered too, if I take a pick tool, put this in this hole, and give her a turn, a twist here, push up on the back side, put my finger over, I can literally feel that plug moving in and out, up and down inside there. And my understanding from the internet is this is peened in from the factory. Peen. Anyways, you can repeen it. Good luck. Good luck with your repeen. What I think the best solution is just going to be to JB weld this thing in. You can JB weld a quadrajet, you can JB weld a Holly, you know. So I'm going to scuff this up a little bit, and I've got some JB weld. Just going to do that. The JB Quick apparently doesn't work as well on fuel as the regular stuff does. I plan on using this carburetor. I think it's fine. Otherwise, it's just, you know, have a little issue here. So I'm going to take this, scuff this thing up, kind of try to give it some shot at sticking on this finish here, and clean it up good. And we'll take some JB weld, and then we'll glob it in here, let it set up overnight. But in the meantime, I'm going to go grab the Edelbrock off of the S10, the one that everybody hated, and well, at least the people that didn't watch the videos long enough to hear me say that it was only on there temporarily. Well, it's still on there, but I'm going to take that off, and we'll bring that in here and put it on this truck. And I know that one works. I just drove that truck a couple days ago, so I know it works fine. So that'll get us at least to where we can do the break-in on it, and then maybe we'll save this carburetor. Probably end up putting it back on here anyways, and go from there. But yeah, this will work. This already looks better. Well, luck would have it, got the truck locked in. I guess we'll just take the Grizz wagon. Damn the luck. I love this car. Wasn't me, officer. Wasn't me. Let's see what she's got today. There she goes. Grizz wagon's still a unit. Alright, carburetor acquired. Thanks to the S10. I gotta get this truck another carburetor. This was never meant to be on here this long. Alright, it's hot in the storage. Let's get out of here. That'll ride right there. Let's find out what's on the roller drill today. There's a real reason to go down to the storage unit. Back from the storage unit, carburetor acquired. The Grizz wagon did great. The roller dogs are on point at the quick trip. A little bit of tip for the roller dog is you want to get there maybe like 11:15, 11:30. Get there a little early before all the construction crews, because what's going to happen is they're going to eat all the good ones. You're going to get there and they're all going to be, you know, behind the line, and you don't want that. You don't want to mess with that. And or the one that's left is like that one that's been on there for 3 hours, and it don't look good. It looks like beef jerky, so, or whatever's in hot dogs, miscellaneous animal part jerky. So there you go. There's your pro tip of the day at the roller dog stand. All right, let's get this off here. All right, let's go get that Edelbrock, get that thing on here. Well, I guess this is the time to try it again. Try number 3. Let's see. It's all still connected. All right. And we should have fuel in the bowl because this was just ran a couple days ago and I just hit the squirters. We should have enough to get started. So, all right. Okay, well, this is it. Let's find out. a little bit of power steering fluid, but that's because I overfilled it on accident, but it'll be fine. Now it's the fitting. We got about 60 pounds of oil pressure and running about 170 on temp. It is charging 14 and a half. Thermostat open. Low buck sport truck. It's sounding pretty good. Finally getting the air fuel mixture dialed in, and much smoother now. Coming around. She just had to run a little bit, you know, knock the chunks out. Oh man. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode. For now, I'm going to call that a successful cam break-in. We went 30 minutes. We varied the idle from 2200 up to 2800, kind of back and forth in some different ranges. Did about 4 or 5 minutes each setting. Seems okay. Only leaks I have, of course, you'll see the power steering pressure hose is leaking bad out of the rear fitting. So it's gushing out. So we're gonna need to replace the power steering hose, no big deal. A little bit of coolant, but that was just for me filling it up. I don't think anything else leaked. It was getting to 195, 200 tops on the gauge on temperature. It's got a 195 thermostat in it. We're sitting here revving it pretty good indoors. It's hot. Just a little bit of airflow from a fan, but not the same as going down the road. I'm happy with that. Oil pressure, I don't think I ever saw it get below 40. It was up to 60 early on when it was hot or when it was cold. So I think it's pretty good. Just kind of checking on everything. I'm gonna need to go around it, tighten everything up, set the timing on it, just do all the normal stuff, verify everything. So yeah, I think we're gonna call it successful for now. time will tell. Need to get it running again, drive it, see how it acts, see if that one lifter hangs in there. But I didn't hear anything immediate that sounds too crazy. So maybe we got lucky. You never know. Maybe we got lucky with this junk 350. So anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys coming back. Appreciate you liking, subscribing to the channel, all the comments, all that stuff. You know, really helps the YouTube algorithm. Hype's one. I forgot about that. I don't know if that really does anything, but hey, if you feel compelled to do it, I appreciate it. Channel memberships, I think I mentioned that earlier. It's been a long video. This has been over mostly 2 weeks between being sick and my wife being out of town, and it's just been a lot of stop and start on this one. So, but channel memberships, we've got those. I think it's $2.99 a month. We're calling it the Poor Financial Decisions Club for now, so we can workshop that idea. But basically, it's going to be just if you want to get the videos early, and it's not going to be anything crazy. Just whenever I get them uploaded, you'll have access to them. No different content or anything. You might just get it a day or two early. But that's the main thing. Just mostly helps me out, helps the channel out, helps me grow, helps pay for some of these non-sponsored parts. So at least till I can get to where some of the stuff is more sponsored. Had a little bit of help here and there, but can always use more. So, but that's it. Thank you guys very much. I'll see you on the next one.